It's been emotional. It's been intense. A high-profile civil trial in Albuquerque continues.
The detective who shot and killed an Iraq War veteran 3 years ago is set to be back on the stand in just a couple of hours. Yesterday, Brett Lampiris-Tremba testified that he shot and killed Kenneth Ellis because the detective was afraid for his safety and that of other cops. Ellis had post-traumatic stress disorder, and at the time he was outside the 7-Eleven in the Heights on the phone with his mother and had a gun pointed at his own head. Lampiris-Tremba says he thought the situation was escalating when Ellis told his mom he loved her and he didn't want to go back to prison.
I thought the situation, based on what he was saying, was getting worse. But I didn't shoot him, solely because he was on the phone with his mother.
Also yesterday, Mr. Lampiris-Tremba testified he lied numerous times, both before he got hired at Albuquerque's police department and after, and that he broke the department's rules for tasing someone who was, quote, passively resisting arrest. The judge has already ruled the shooting violated Kenneth Ellis's constitutional rights, so now the jury is going to decide how much money the city owes Ellis's family and a number of other things. Well, the minimum wage in Bernalillo County could be on the way up. County commissioners are supposed to talk about increasing it from $7.50 an hour to $8.50 tonight. As you know, Albuquerque's already done that, and the Roundhouse is thinking about doing it for the whole state. Also tonight, county commissioners could agree to restart impounding cars of people caught drinking and driving over and over again. The county began doing this last year, but stopped when it couldn't agree with Albuquerque on how to split the costs. So now the county plans to do it solo.
The city clerk's office is busy counting ballots in the city's first election by mail in 14 years. We're talking about the city of Albuquerque here. Results will determine whether candidates for mayor and the city council must get at least 50% of the vote to win office. Right now, the requirement is 40%, any less, and the top two face off in a second election. So far, the unofficial results show 26,227 are for the change and 20,792 are against it. All righty. Well, Albuquerque City Council may be getting involved in the fight to tear down a problematic house. It's over on Lexington near Candelaria and Wantabo. It caught fire 3 times recently, and after one of those fires, Juanita Adams was found dead inside. The Safe City Strike Force team has been trying to tear down the house since January, but hasn't been able to. So now it wants the city council to get a court injunction and pay to tear down the house. This is all supposed to go to court next month.
High-paying jobs could be on the way to New Mexico, and that's at least what some legislators here are hoping. The House has passed a bill that gives contractors working with the Department of Defense and Energy and Satellite Technology big tax breaks. Labs at White Sands and Kirtland Air Force Base already do some of this work, but there are a lot more companies in New Mexico that could do even more. The state's Economic Development Secretary estimates the bill could add 200 to 300 jobs, maybe even more down the road, but it could also cost the state up to $34 million in tax money during the next 4 years.
Things got pretty heated in the Roundhouse over what books kids in New Mexico should read. The committee was hearing a House memorial sponsored by Mo Maestas to encourage diversity when it comes to book choices for the state schools. Now, things heated up because of a set of books listed on a House memorial are the same books one Arizona school district removed from its classrooms. The memorial was in response to the ban. Representative Nora Espinosa says she's not against kids learning about other cultures, but doesn't think the books in the Arizona ban have any place in this memorial. Espinosa says the books promote racism. Maestas says the point isn't to force districts to read the books, but to give them the option if they so choose.
The bill that could keep Virgin Galactic here is headed to Governor Susana Martinez's desk. Yesterday, the House unanimously approved this bill that protects spacecraft companies from most liability lawsuits. There were some fears that Virgin Galactic might pull out of New Mexico if this bill did not pass the Roundhouse this year. The governor has said she will sign it. We'll let you know if she does. And the Breaking Bad bill, as it's called, is now on the way to the State House. With it, the state would give a 30% tax refund to TV shows that produce at least 6 shows here in New Mexico. This is like the hit AMC show Breaking Bad. That refund is up from the 25% that shows and movies can get right now.
Santa Fe Mayor David Koss says the city has sent federal officials a letter seeking to save the airport's control tower from federal budget cuts. Koss says keeping the tower open is of national importance because of a number of military flights that use it. Last week, the Federal Aviation Administration notified airports in Santa Fe and Hobbs, as well as the Double Eagle Airport west of Albuquerque, that they will lose funding for their control towers unless they prove that they are vital to the community. The NTSB has released a preliminary report into the deadly plane crash in Angel Fire last week. John Verhalen was flying the single-engine plane in winds of 55 miles an hour when it crashed just after taking off from the ski tower earlier this month. His girlfriend, sister, and niece, all from Texas, were also killed. The report shows that a worker questioned whether Verhalen wanted to fly in the windy weather. The airport manager actually says that there were warnings posted on the front desk and that Verhalen was given wind readings as he was taxiing into the runway. Now, no other flights came in or left the airport that day.
The state attorney general's office wants the U.S. Supreme Court to throw out a lawsuit from Texas sparked by an ongoing water war. Back in January, Texas sued New Mexico, claiming we're violating a 1938 compact and Texas is not getting the water it should from the Rio Grande. Now, New Mexico's attorneys say the state is not breaking any laws and the issue should not be in front of the U.S. Supreme Court because it's already being dealt with in a federal district court. Despite that's been going on for a while, it's not going to get done anytime soon.
No. Time right now, 5:30.